to retire, and now we're all living together again. I supported President Obama because he spoke so beautifully. He promised change, but things changed for the worse. Obama started spending like our credit cards have no limit. His healthcare law made health insurance even more expensive. We've had stimulus and bailouts. Obama added almost $16,000 in debt for every American. How will my kids pay that off when they can't even find jobs? Now Obama wants more spending and taxes. That won't fix things. I had so many hopes. Cutting taxes and debt and creating jobs. That's the change we need. Tell President Obama to cut the job-killing debt and support the New Majority Agenda at newmajorityagenda.org.
From Iraq and Afghanistan, our brave warriors are coming home, wounded. Some with wounds you can see, some with wounds you can't see. Wounded Warrior Project was created to support our men and women coming off the battlefield. Please help carry these warriors the rest of the way home. Get involved at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Today is a special day. Today we gather as a nation and as an international community to recognize the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. She's been recognized by religious figures and politicians around the world. To us, she's just Rachel. But to the rest of the world, she is the woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
Save a life. Don't drive buzzed. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I was in chronic pain, and my family struggling to make ends meet, food and gas prices going up, even keeping my job was iffy. Then I learned about a new miracle drug made in Washington, D.C., Spenditol. Spenditol is Washington's answer to all the painful problems Americans face. How to borrow $800 billion for a stimulus that didn't create jobs or fix the economy? Spenditol.
Spenditol is not for everyone. Side effects may include a mountain of government debt piled on our kids, a sudden loss of freedoms, higher prices for everything, leaving our kids a lesser America than we had. Ask your doctor or congressman if your conscience is strong enough for Spenditol.
And it's so popular in Washington, we have to import trillions more of it from China. Spenditol makes you feel better now and pushes off the really bad stuff till later, for them to deal with.
Call the White House and Congress. Tell them, stop spending it all.
Feeling lonely this holiday season? Looking for little human interaction? Do you want to feel contact in certain special places?
Then why not go through security at an airport?
The TSA.
TSA agents are ready and standing by to give you a little something extra to feel thankful about this holiday season.
The TSA.
What are you waiting for? I want to check under your testicles.
Spending time with a TSA agent couldn't be easier. Simply book a flight departing from any American airport. When selected for a full body scanner, say no. You'll be pulled aside by a TSA agent, and that's when the fun begins. And you never know who your agent will be.
It could be me. Or me. Or even me.
But it's probably gonna be us. Take off your damn shoe.
The TSA. It's our business to touch yours.
Welcome
Welcome to the Bureau of Womanhood Conformity. Independent thoughts are considered subversive because all must agree with our leader.
When it comes to women, preventative care should include coverage of contraceptive services such as birth control.
You see, if you don't believe government should pay for your birth control, you're not a real woman. Womanhood denied. If you refuse to accept that pregnancy is a punishment, you're denied as well.
I don't want them punished with a baby.
If you don't believe that abortions should be allowed for any reason, if you don't believe in aborting a child for being the wrong gender, and if you don't believe that stay-at-home mothers aren't real workers, you are not a real conformed woman.
His wife has actually never worked a day in her life. His wife has actually never worked a day in her life.
Finally, for your safety, if you oppose mandatory government health care, you will die.
They will be voting to say that women can die on the floor.
These standards and regulations were formed after our glorious victory in the war on women. Thank you for your cooperation and your conformity.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
You know, there is no doubt about it. The left believes that you and your family are less important than them and their family. And not just the president, but all these people that are, running around, denouncing the NRA's ad for using the president's daughters as an example of the president's hypocrisy. I mean, how do you present a hypocrisy moment if you don't use the moment? You can't. So the reason why they don't like it so much is because it's the truth. You know, liberals don't like the truth coming to light. They can't stand the truth coming to light. This is why liberals will always try to shout you down and not give you the chance to speak. We will almost always give them the opportunity to speak, but as soon as you start to speak, they will try to cut you off, shout you down, try to keep you from speaking. They will go to great lengths to keep you quiet. And if you are able to get the truth out, oh, no. They will blast you, lambaste you, and they will say all kinds of things to you. Just to keep the truth covered up. I mean, after all, what are they afraid of? Oh, they used Obama's kids. Well, what are you afraid of? Is it true or not? Well, that doesn't matter because they shouldn't have. Well, yeah, it does matter. Is what they said true or not? Well, they shouldn't be using the kids like this. I mean, Obama's using kids. That's why they came out with that ad. Because Obama was using children as human shields so he could pass his agenda. And when he was called out on it, that's when the left gets up in arms about using children. Oh, but not just any kid. Well, you're using the president's kids, and his kids are too good to be used that way. Oh, BS. If you're going to use any child for anything, then they're all game. Your kid isn't better than mine or anybody else's. So Obama is basically out there saying that your child, because you are not a liberal government official, is not important enough to be taken care of and protected by guns. What do kids have to say about that? Yeah, I agree. And you hear everybody out there, including Christie, instead of talking about the actual issue that is being raised, they're going to go, well, they shouldn't be using this issue and using the kids and the president's daughters are off. Oh, BS. Don't obfuscate the facts. The facts are, you're trying to hide from the facts. Plain and simple. Speaking of trying to hide and not hide and knowing the difference, here's there's a story here. New York experts say that proposed New York gun law will hinder therapy. Now, remember, if you in New York's new tough gun law, if you're a mental health professional and you have the inkling that somebody's going to commit a violent crime with a gun, you have to report them. So there goes, doctor-client privilege. So now you got to report him. Because if you don't, if it comes out, well, oh, yeah, he was this doctor's patient. This doctor didn't tell anybody that he could have been, dangerous. Even if he just shoots himself. Even if he's at home at 3 o'clock in the morning, in his bathroom, in his bathtub, and puts a gun to his mouth and pulls the trigger, the doctor who is taking care of him for mental health issues, if he didn't even mention that this guy possibly could have been a danger to himself or to others with a gun, he's going to get crucified. That's what this is setting up. So, and not to mention, there are people that just, if I go to the doctor now, the psychologist, the therapist, the psychiatrist, if I go to them now and they think that I'm nuts enough to hurt myself or somebody else with a gun, they're going to report me. I'm not going to go to the doctor. People are already thinking this. Oh, geez, hey, you might start finding some therapists and psychologists on the unemployment line in New York. Mental health experts say that a new, tougher New York State gun control law will interfere with treatment of potentially dangerous people and even discourage them from seeking help. Well, duh. Well, I mean, let's just put this to the practical, real-life, logical test, shall we? You okay? Maybe you ought to see somebody about your mental condition.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little depressed. I don't know. I guess maybe I should get some help. Oh, wait. If I actually go to get some help and the therapist thinks I might be a danger because I own a gun for my own protection, because I'm scared of my neighbor, they're going to report me and I'll get into big trouble. No. I'm not going to go see a therapist. And then one night that neighbor busts through the door and he shoots them, and guess what? Everybody's going to be asking, well, what about the mental health? This guy needed mental help and he didn't get it. Look, our medical system and our mental health system is not perfect. Nobody's system in the world is. But let me tell you something. Almost every major health plan has some sort of mental health riders on them. The reason why a lot of people don't get mental health care is because they do not seek it out or they refuse it. That's also another little dirty little secret. Why? Because nobody wants the stigma of being thought of as being crazy or given mental drugs. Because people are starting to understand what these things are doing to ordinary people like you and me. They're being prescribed like they're candy. And people are saying, I don't want to be dependent on this kind of drug or that kind of drug. And so they're afraid of being labeled. Oh, because, hey, our society doesn't like labels. Remember, don't label me. You can't label me. I don't like labels. Well, nobody wants to be labeled in that manner. And sure, you got the well-to-do and the wealthy because they have nothing better. It's kind of a sign of, my therapist this, my therapist says that. And because they have money to burn. So they go ahead and see the therapist. And in certain circles, that's a badge of honor. Yes, I have a therapist. I don't need a therapist, but I just go every week just to have somebody to talk to who pretends to care about me. But the average person, I don't want to go see a therapist. I'm that way. I don't need to see a mental.
Really? You're going to tell me that this guy's going to tell me what's in my head? After speaking with me for 30 minutes